Can you really stop menopausal hair loss? I mean, can you really regrow back the hair that you lost, or is it something that you're just going to have to suffer through? Hi, I'm Lydia Martinez Ebling, certified fitness and nutrition specialist and hormone health coach. And in today's episode, I'm breaking down proven strategies that can help stop the shedding, calm your scalp, and help you regrow stronger, healthier hair. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start from the inside out. Now, if you're on this episode and you think, well, wait a minute, what's even going on with my hair? Go check out the episode that I just did before this one. And I'm breaking things down for you, like what's going on with that menopausal hair loss? What are some early signs so you can, stop it in its tracks? And I talk about a process of elimination for you. But let's go and talk about how we can actually calm our scalp, help or slow down that thinning of that hair and grow back stronger, healthier hair. And we do it from the inside out. You've heard me say it before, but I'm going to say it again, right? Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Well, yes, that's it. So let's start from the inside out in our nutrition. Like I said, there could be nutrition gaps, and that's why we lose our hair. We're restricting our calories too much, or maybe we're not getting the proper amount of ratios when it comes to our macronutrients, being our protein, our fat, our carbohydrates. And when we do that, well, it stress out our thyroid. So let's talk about our nutrition. First thing is protein, protein, protein. I always talk about this, but I want you to think about protein. Our body produces hormones from protein and fat, majority fat, right? So we need those things, but it doesn't mean that we don't need carbohydrates. They all work together. But protein is what's going to help produce collagen. It's going to help produce keratin, right? Keratin in the hair, and elastin. So you want to make sure that you're taking in healthy quality protein. It doesn't need to be lean protein. You're like, wait a minute, what? It just needs to be quality protein, organic poultry, grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, right? Because they all have good fats in them and they're great sources of protein. Next is the healthy fats. So I talked about it, the fish, like wild-caught fish, but the healthy fats of avocado, omega-3s that you find in salmon, ghee, grass-fed butter, our nuts. These are all great sources. And eggs are two things, protein and fat. It's like a perfect protein, but also it has that cholesterol. And cholesterol is really good for you because it's going to help produce testosterone. It's going to help keep your cholesterol levels at a healthy level. You're like, wait a minute, what? Yes. So we know that now. Okay. And so eggs are awesome. Eggs are awesome for women. Next, what else we want to look for when it comes to our nutrition? Our micronutrients. But let me rewind, because we talked about protein and fat. I want to talk about carbohydrates. Micronutrients are, all in the foods that we eat, but carbohydrates is a big one. And too many women they're still in that world of, I can't eat carbohydrates because they make me bloated and I gain weight. And that's a whole nother episode I'll have to do talking about carbohydrates and what's going on after 40. But you need carbohydrates because if you don't eat enough carbohydrates, it actually stunts your testosterone. And you're thinking, well, what if my testosterone's high? You still want to help your body support quality production of hormones and detoxification of those metabolized hormones. But when we do not do enough carbohydrates, it stunts not only our testosterone production, but also stunts and slows down our thyroid. See, the thyroid can be a reason why our hair is thinning, remember? Okay, so we want to pay attention to our quality carbohydrates. And then our micronutrients. Micronutrients are your zinc, your magnesium's really important, your vitamin D, iron, and vitamin D is a big one because the majority of women in menopause, perimenopause, menopause, and beyond are low in vitamin D. And I talked about this. I actually did an episode specifically talking about vitamin D and why is it so important in one of the supplements that I recommend. And vitamin D actually acts as a hormone, and it's going to help not only with bone health, but your immune system, but also helping with your hair follicles and testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone production, right? Metabolization, all of the things. So those are some nutrients that you want to make sure that you are getting in and rewinding. So the majority of women, right, that are low in estrogen and progesterone and testosterone are usually low in vitamin D as well. Okay, so that's why you want to do it. And you can go check out that episode that I did on vitamin D. Okay, supplementation. Well, we know biotin. You hear about it all the time. But make sure that you're getting quality biotin in, and then also B vitamins. B vitamins are, just the spark plug to everything. And the moment we open our eyes and our feet hit the ground, we start using up our B vitamins. And if we're under a lot more stress, we use up our B vitamins. And if you're not eating enough red meat, then you're not getting ample amounts of B12. So get a good complex B vitamin complex, biotin. Omega-3s is a big one. Even if you eat salmon, wild-caught fish, I'm going to highly suggest that you add that in because it helps bring down inflammation. It's going to help support your joints. It's going to help lubricate all of your skin and your hair follicles. It's going to do the things that it needs to do. And omega-3s is a big part of that. As women age, what happens? Inflammation goes up, insulin goes up, cortisol goes up, thyroid goes down, and of course a decline of our sex hormones. And omega-3s can be a big supporter of all of that, not just your hair, but your joints and all of the things, and reducing that inflammation. Inflammation puts stress on the body. Iron is something that you want to look at. Not all women need iron after menopause, right? But make sure that you're checking that. Remember, check, test, don't guess. And then adaptogens. What are adaptogens? I love adaptogens. They're herbs. They're used in Ayurvedic medicine. And think about the word adapt. When we get stressed out and our body is stressed out, it's like we have an internal quick stress trigger. Well, either we get really anxious and irritable and nervous, or we can get kind of depressed and tired and lethargic. Adaptogens, what I love is that within a 20-minute time frame of taking them, is that they can adhere to a situation and neutralize it. What do I mean by that? If you're that type of person, when you're stressed, you get anxious and irritable, it can help bring that anxiety and that irritability down without making you lazy, right? Or tired or drowsy. Or if you're the person that gets drowsy and tired and almost depressed, it can bring you up without making you jittery. Holy basil, ashwagandha, different types of mushrooms can also be, but herbs. We actually have a product called Calm that you don't need to use all the time. It's when you know you're going into stressful situations or feeling stress, you can use it. And then a big one is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Now, the FDA just took off the black label when it comes to hormone replacement therapy, where obviously they were wrong that they skewed that study back in 2002, making women frightened for years to do hormone replacement therapy. We now know that when you do bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, it reduces your risk for all-cause mortality, meaning that you can die from anything. It reduces that. It's going to help reduce your risk for heart disease, diabetes, dementia, Alzheimer's, certain cancers, right? So then it's also going to help support your hormones, because you lost testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. And you can't eat your way back into optimal levels of hormones, but you can do BHRT, and that's going to be a big helper for your hair and thinning, to stop the thinning and get your hair growing again and full, right? We want the Mufasa look, or maybe not the look, but that thickness. Then there's topicals, and there's all different types of topicals. A few that I like in minoxidil, okay? You could take that in pill form, or you could do it in mousse, or you could do it in type of spray, topical. If you're going to do it, I'd rather you do the topical versus doing a pill, because it's just then it means it has to go through the liver, and your liver is your filtration station, and it's not without side effects. And there's less side effects if you're doing topical versus taking it orally. But then there's also different types of oils, like pumpkin seed oil, jojoba oil, castor oil. I know they're all really thick, but you could do hair treatments to help calm your scalp, nourish your scalp. And then there's one that I like that has micro doses of progesterone in it. And then it has CBD in it. So that CBD is going to help calm the stress of the scalp. And then the progesterone can help block DHT, right? Because it actually, that's what it does. That's what progesterone is good for. But it's only good if that's your issue. So remember I said like 100,000 gazillion times, don't guess, but test. Identify whether that's an issue. Now, it's not going to hurt to use it because it's microdoses and it's going to stay locally. But I don't want you to do a bunch of things when that's not the actual issue. Because if it's your thyroid, is it going to help? I don't know. If it's your nutrition, is it going to help? Well, not really. You know, get it? Got it? Okay. And I'll put a link to the one that I like when it comes to, because I actually do use, it's the progesterone and CBD, but I don't use it all the time. But I like it because I know when my body's kind of getting stressed, I don't want my scalp to be stressed. And also if I know on the next day, I'm going to go and do a lot of things styling to my hair, the night before I like to put on the root cause so it helps calm my scalp. So I'll share that with you in the actual show notes. And now I shared this on the other episode, but I want to make sure that I share it here as well, is looking at the non-toxic type of hair care. But it's not just about hair care. It's the skincare and the things that you're putting on your body that you're breathing in. If it has parabens and sulfates and all these different type of xenoestrogens, then it's going to disrupt your natural hormonal imbalance. And the reason that xenoestrogens are so bad because they mimic estrogen, but it's not a clean estrogen. And what happens when your body is bombarded with the xenoestrogen, well, it's trying to process and metabolize that used up estrogen and it's not getting rid of it. And when that happens, it actually blocks your body's ability to produce quality estrogen. And estrogen is going to be a key to that balance of, you know, testosterone and progesterone and all the things when it comes to healthy, full hair. One of my favorite hair products is actually Pureology. I love it. And it's a non-toxic one that you can use, but I'll also put a list down for you. Let me know if you want me to put some things together and I'll do another episode just on the products that I use for my hair, for my eyebrows. I already talked about what to avoid, but I want to make sure that you remember. Stay away from like the bleaches and the harsh chemicals and the harsh hair treatments and the, you know, the ironing and the drying and all the things. If you're going to do that, make sure that you're using non-toxic products, that you're making sure that you're putting hair treatments back on your hair that's going to calm your scalp. Make sure that you're not crash dieting, that you're getting in enough nutrients, the protein, the fat, and the carbohydrates, and of course, manage your stress, right? That's easier said than done. And a quick action checklist. First, your nutrition, right? Protein, fat, carbohydrates. Make sure that you're getting ample amounts of quality nutrients for your body. Make sure that you're supplementing with the right things, the biotin, the vitamin D, the zinc, the iron, right? The omega-3s. You know, make sure that you are using non-toxic products and then optimizing your hormones. Consider BHRT if you haven't already. And if you are on BHRT and you're seeing signs of hair thinning, then go get your labs done again because your hormones, your BHRT might need to be adjusted. Manage your stress, right? Do the things like the adaptogens, but also nourish your scalp, massage your scalp, do calming oils and calming type of hair treatments, right? To really love on it and nourish it. And then lastly, be patient because it takes time. I talked about it before. 90 days is a physiological response. But what's really great about your hair is that you can start seeing something as quick as 1 week, 4 weeks, and then 8 weeks, and then 12 weeks is going to be the full effect. 90 days of consistency on anything that you do, good or bad, will show up physiologically. Okay, so just be patient. And again, don't stress. And remember, what you do in private does show up in public. What do I mean by that? Well, what's going on the inside is for sure going to show up on the outside. And your hair is one of the biggest indicators of your hormonal health. So make sure that you are nourishing your body, that you're managing stress, And when you do, your hair will respond. Now, go ahead and take my hormone macro body type quiz so you can identify what imbalances might be happening within your body and what you can do about it. And you can join our free community where we talk about all things hormone health and healthy aging.